David, his hand gripping the doorknob. He takes a deep breath and pushes open the front door. The soft sound of voices floats in from the living room, but it's different, tense, as if something is being discussed that shouldn't be. David steps into the house, where Clara is sitting with three of her closest friends, Julia, Rachel, and Eve. The women are gathered around the kitchen table, talking in hushed tones, but as David steps inside, the conversation halts. Clara, with a warm but slightly mischievous smile, stands to greet him. There's an undeniable shift in the air. He senses something has changed, but what? Clara, never one to hide her feelings, opens the conversation in the most casual way. "I've been thinking about hosting a swinger party," she says nonchalantly, almost as though she's suggesting a dinner party. The words hang in the air, their weight sinking into David's chest. Julia nods eagerly, already texting on her phone, while Rachel and Eve exchange uncertain glances. David feels his heart race as Clara continues to explain, "The idea is simple. Guests can bring a partner or come alone. There are no hard rules, just the freedom to explore, to swap partners if they're comfortable." She looks at him directly as she says this, her eyes gleaming with anticipation, waiting for his response. David's stomach drops. "Wait. Are you serious?" His voice is barely a whisper, as if saying the words aloud would make this strange idea more real. Clara doesn't flinch. She smiles softly, clearly enjoying the look of shock on his face. "Absolutely. It's something I've been thinking about for a while now. You're not obligated to do anything you're not comfortable with," she adds. But the doubt creeping into David's mind isn't about her request, it's about what this means for them as a couple, for their relationship. His gaze flickers around the room at the other women, all nodding in agreement with Clara, as if this were the most natural thing in the world. The conversation continues, and David is left in the uncomfortable position of listening to Clara explain the logistics of the party. She talks about setting a date, sending out invitations, and ensuring everyone understands the no-pressure rule. The more she talks, the more surreal it feels. David feels like an outsider in his own home, as though the ground beneath him is slowly giving way. Clara isn't just planning an event, she's planning to reshape their reality. The words freedom, explore, and trust roll off her tongue easily, but David's mind is racing with 100 questions. Julia, ever the enthusiastic one, eagerly adds, "It's going to be so much fun, David. Everyone will be there just to have a good time. No judgment, no strings attached." She flashes him a bright smile, as if this is a simple decision to make. Rachel, sitting quietly next to Julia, looks uncertain. She taps her fingers on the table, clearly conflicted, but there's something in her eyes, curiosity mixed with a dash of fear. Eve, ever the pragmatist, asks the important questions: what happens if someone doesn't feel comfortable? How do you handle boundaries? Her voice is steady, measured, but there's a hint of concern. David, struggling to process what he's hearing, can't help but feel like he's losing control. "You're planning on inviting people into our home, strangers even, and you think I should just go along with it?" His voice trembles, even though he tries to mask it. Clara looks at him with a soft, almost pitying smile. "It's not about strangers, David," she says gently. "It's about trust. It's about us, together, exploring something new. This is something I want to do, and I want you to be part of it." But David can't shake the feeling that this isn't just about trying something new, it's about her finding a side of herself he never knew existed. What does this say about their marriage? About the life they've built? His gaze flickers to Rachel, who shifts uncomfortably in her seat, and then to Julia, who is practically bouncing with excitement. David feels a sense of panic rising in his chest. This was supposed to be a quiet evening, an evening just for them. Instead, it feels like the beginning of a journey he never asked for. David's heart pounds in his chest. His mind races with questions, doubts, and fears. There's no turning back now. The party is happening, and with it, the possibility that their marriage, their lives, will be irreversibly changed.
David's mind is a whirlwind as the conversation continues to unfold. Clara, still upbeat, continues to talk about the event, explaining how everyone will feel comfortable and have the freedom to choose their level of involvement. The women around the table are all nodding, agreeing with her, but David is barely listening anymore. His thoughts are spiraling, his emotions torn between anger, confusion, and an unsettling curiosity.
Julia leans forward with excitement, her face practically glowing. I've already started planning the outfits. This is going to be wild. It's going to be the most unforgettable night, she laughs, her voice light and carefree, completely at ease with the idea.
Rachel, on the other hand, is more reserved. She's quietly fidgeting with her drink, her mind clearly elsewhere. I don't know. It's just so different, you know. What if it doesn't feel right? What if we're all uncomfortable? Her voice is soft but filled with genuine concern. She's not sure she's ready for something so bold, and David can see the hesitation in her eyes. But at the same time, there's a curiosity there, a hidden part of her wondering what it would be like. Eve, ever the thoughtful one, interrupts. We need to make sure boundaries are crystal clear. There can't be any misunderstandings, and we have to be honest with ourselves about what we're comfortable with. Her words are grounded, but even she can't hide a small amount of excitement from her voice. She's not fully on board, but she can't deny the intrigue that comes with such a radical idea. David watches them all closely. He can't understand how they're so at ease with this plan. He can't help but feel that something vital is slipping through his fingers. He thought they were all just friends, but now he's realizing how little he knows about their desires, their fears, their true selves. Clara, sensing his discomfort, turns to him. David, I can't do this alone. I need you to be a part of it too. This isn't just about them, it's about us. We'll be in control. It's about trust. Her words echo in his mind, but the more she speaks, the more David feels like she's pushing him into a corner. His heart pounds. Trust. He's always trusted her, but what if this is something he can't accept? What if the price of her trust is too high? The rest of the evening is a blur. David is lost in his thoughts, unable to shake the weight of what Clara has suggested. Every time he looks at her, he sees someone different, someone he doesn't fully understand. The life they've built, their shared experiences, seem to be unraveling in front of him, and he can't tell if he's supposed to follow her lead or protect what they have. As the evening wears on, David retreats to the study. He needs space, a moment to breathe, to think. The sound of laughter and lively chatter from the living room filters through the walls, but it feels distant, like he's in another world entirely. His mind is racing, unable to quiet itself. The image of Clara and the others discussing the party, the idea of strangers in their home, swapping partners, it all swirls together in his mind like a storm. He opens his laptop, trying to distract himself, but the screen blurs in front of him. He can't focus. He keeps replaying the conversation over and over in his head, wondering how they arrived at this point. What changed? Was it always there, buried under the surface, waiting to come out? Or has something about Clara shifted in a way he doesn't understand? The question nags at him, what do I really want? Part of him wants to shut everything down, to tell Clara this is a line he's not willing to cross. But another part of him, the part that still loves her, that wants to understand her, feels a strange pull toward the idea. Could this really bring them closer? Could this be a way for them to explore a side of their relationship that they've never considered before? David's thoughts are interrupted by the ping of his phone. He checks the message. It's from his best friend, Mark. Mark's message is casual, almost too casual. Hey man, just saw the news. Clara's party, huh? I mean, you guys have always been open-minded, right? Might be a fun experiment. You should totally go for it. You never know unless you try. David stares at the message, a tight knot forming in his chest. Mark is always the adventurous one, the one who pushes boundaries. He can't help but feel irritated by his friend's response, but he's also envious. Mark is at peace with the idea, isn't he? Maybe David is the one making this more complicated than it needs to be. David narration, why am I making this harder than it should be? It's just a party, right? Just a few people having fun. But why does it feel like everything is hanging by a thread? Why can't I let go of the fear? What if this is the one thing that changes everything? The more David thinks about it, the more conflicted he becomes. He wants to trust Clara, to trust her judgment, but there's something inside him, a primal instinct that tells him this could go terribly wrong. But could he really stop it? Would that drive a wedge between them that could never be repaired?
David takes a deep breath, staring at the phone in his hand. There's no easy answer, no clear path forward. All he knows is that the decision he makes now will define the rest of their relationship. The weight of that realization presses down on him. David's internal battle rages as the evening progresses, but Clara seems oblivious to his growing anxiety. She continues to press him about the party, her excitement unwavering. She's been planning every detail, sending invitations, arranging food, making sure the atmosphere is perfect. It's clear that she's deeply invested in making this night a reality. When they finally sit down together in their bedroom, the tension between them is palpable. Clara, ever calm and composed, leans against the headboard, her eyes glowing with anticipation. David sits on the edge of the bed, his hands clenched in his lap, struggling to find the right words. "I just don't get it, Clara," he finally says, his voice low and almost hesitant. "Why is this so important to you? What are you really hoping to get out of it?" Clara looks at him with a mixture of empathy and something darker, something he hasn't seen in her before. "It's about us, David. I want us to explore new things, push past the walls we've built around ourselves. We've been stuck in this comfortable routine for so long, and maybe that's the problem. I don't want us to get bored. I don't want to look back and regret not trying something different." Her voice is soft, but there's a sharp edge to it, a quiet urgency that cuts through the air. David feels like a stranger in his own skin. He's hearing words he's never heard from Clara before. This version of her, the one pushing for adventure, for freedom, is unfamiliar. He realizes that this isn't just about a party, it's about something deeper. Does she want more than I can give her? "I thought we were happy," David says, the words escaping before he can stop them. This feels like you're trying to fix something that isn't broken." Clara's gaze softens, but there's a sadness behind her eyes. "It's not about fixing something, David. It's about growing, evolving, experiencing life in a new way. You can't hold on to the past forever." She reaches out and touches his hand gently, but David pulls away, the gesture feeling like an intrusion, a boundary being crossed that he's not ready to accept. The silence in the room grows thick as the weight of her words settles on him. What if she's right? What if this is the only way forward? He looks into Clara's eyes, searching for some sign of the woman he thought he knew, the woman he married. But all he sees is a stranger, someone whose desires are so far beyond him that he's not sure he can catch up. As the days pass, David becomes more restless, more paranoid. Clara is busy with the final details of the party, setting up the guest list, planning the decor, confirming attendance, but David can't focus on anything. He's consumed by the thought of what's to come. The more he thinks about it, the more it eats away at him. What if something goes wrong? What if someone gets hurt? What if Clara is pushing him into something he's not ready for? His worst fears are realized when, late one night, he receives an unexpected text message from Rachel. It's short, simple, but it makes his stomach drop. "David, I think you need to know something. I'm not sure if you've thought about it, but I just overheard Clara talking to Julia about her plans for the party. She mentioned that she might be more open to exploring with someone else once the night is over." David feels his chest tighten as he reads the message. He stares at it, rereading the words over and over, trying to make sense of them. More open to exploring with someone else? It hits him like a punch in the gut. He thought the party was about freedom, an exploration, about a mutual experience that they would navigate together. But now it seems like Clara might have a different agenda. She's already planning to go further than what they had discussed, pushing boundaries that David isn't sure he's ready to cross. He quickly grabs his phone and calls Rachel, his voice tense, almost desperate. "What did you hear, Rachel? What exactly did Clara say?" Rachel hesitates on the other end of the line. I don't know, David. It just didn't sit right with me, the way she was talking. It's like she's planning something that might not just be about the party anymore." David feels a cold wave of dread wash over him. He suddenly feels completely alone, like he's on the outside looking in. Is this all some kind of game to Clara? As the conversation ends, David is left with a growing sense of unease. Clara's words, once full of excitement, now sound like a warning. There's something deeper happening here, something he's not prepared for. The questions keep coming, each one more unsettling than the last. Is she already moving on? Does she want to be with someone else? David feels like he's standing at the edge of a cliff, unsure whether to step forward or retreat into the safety of what he knows. The party is just around the corner, and everything is marriage. His trust in Clara is on the line. The night of the party finally arrives, and David can't shake the feeling that he's walking into a nightmare of his own making. Clara had done everything to prepare a meticulous plan, a guest list, an atmosphere of freedom and trust. But all David can think about is the storm swirling inside him. He thought he'd find comfort in his home, but now it feels like a house on the edge of disaster. The guests start arriving: strangers, acquaintances, some familiar faces from Clara's circle, all of them chatting and laughing, oblivious to the tension hanging in the air. David watches them, unsure of what to do, feeling like a fish out of water. Clara is radiant as she greets everyone, excited, animated, moving with ease in a way that David hasn't seen in her before. She catches his eye and smiles, but there's something behind that smile, something that makes his heart race. Her confidence is unsettling. It's like she's not the same woman he married, but a version of her he doesn't quite recognize. She's the one who's supposed to be his anchor, the one person who keeps him grounded. And yet, tonight, he feels completely adrift. "David, relax," Clara whispers in his ear as she slides past him, her hand grazing his arm. "Just enjoy the night. We can leave whenever you want if it feels wrong. But tonight is about letting go. Let's not overthink it." But how can he not overthink it? Every part of him is screaming to get out, to walk away from this whole thing. But instead, he stays out of loyalty, out of love, out of a desperate hope that maybe he's wrong, that maybe everything will be fine. As the evening progresses, David feels the unsettling weight of every decision that has led them here. The music is too loud, the conversation's too casual. Clara is mingling effortlessly, talking to their guests like she's known them for years, laughing with ease. And as time passes, David notices something that twists his stomach. Clara's eyes keep darting toward the door, as though waiting for someone specific. The party continues, and as David watches the room full of people who are all comfortable with this new world Clara is exploring, he feels increasingly alone. The laughter and chatter blur into the background. He's no longer part of the conversation, no longer part of the world they're building tonight. He notices a man in the corner, someone Clara seems particularly fond of. He can't help but stare, his heart racing as Clara engages with him, her body language open, unguarded. It's not lost on him that she hasn't looked at him the same way all night. There's something off, something cold between them now. By midnight, the energy in the room has shifted. There's a growing sense of anticipation, a sense that something is about to happen. Guests have begun to pair off, mingling in the background, while others linger near the refreshments, whispering in hushed tones. David watches it all, his anxiety escalating with each passing second. He can't help but feel like he's been reduced to an outsider, a spectator in his own life. His marriage, his relationship with Clara, it all feels fragile now, as if it could shatter at any moment. And when Clara finally walks toward him, her face flushed with excitement, David knows it's time for the conversation he's been dreading. She reaches him with a smile, her lips barely brushing his cheek. "David, I'm so glad you're here," she says softly, but her eyes are distracted, her mind elsewhere. "You've been so quiet tonight. Are you enjoying yourself?" David doesn't answer immediately. Instead, he looks at her, really looks at her. For the first time all evening, he sees her clearly. He sees the woman who's taken a step away from him, the woman who's eager to explore, to experience something new, and he feels a pang of something deep inside him, a loss. "I'm not sure I'm enjoying this," Clara, David says, his voice firm but quiet, as though speaking too loudly might make the situation worse. "I can't do this. I can't be here, pretending everything's fine while you're out there, with them." His voice trembles at the end, the weight of his words sinking in. Clara's face falters for a moment, and David can see the slightest flicker of something regret, maybe, or disappointment. But it's gone in an instant, replaced by the same confident, carefree woman who invited him into this situation in the first place. She looks at him, a flash of frustration in her eyes. David, you knew what this was. You knew what I wanted. This isn't about anyone else. This is about us, about exploring and being free. I don't understand why you're fighting me on this. David feels the room close in around him. It's not just the people or the situation, it's Clara. The woman he thought he knew, the woman he thought he could trust. And yet, here she is, standing before him, distant, unreachable. Maybe this isn't what I want, David responds, his voice quieter now, almost a whisper. Maybe I've lost you already. Maybe you're already somewhere else. Clara's eyes soften for a moment, but the shift is almost imperceptible. She steps back, her expression unreadable, and her gaze flickers to the other guests. The tension between them hangs in the air, thick and suffocating. And with that, Clara turns away, walking toward the group she's so eager to join. The emptiness inside David grows, and he's left standing in the middle of the room, feeling more alone than ever before. The night spirals further out of David's control as Clara slips deeper into the party's allure. The guests have grown bolder, exchanging subtle glances, whispered conversations, flirting perhaps, or something more. David watches from the periphery, his mind racing. The feeling of being an outsider, of losing his place in this once shared world, is overwhelming. As the evening wears on, Clara finally reappears before him. She's laughing with another guest, a man David doesn't recognize, but her eyes seek him out across the room, and for a moment he catches a glimmer of something that feels almost regretful. David, she says, her voice carrying a soft, almost playful tone, I've been waiting for you to come join us. It's time to let go, to enjoy the night. There's no need to be tense anymore. I thought this was what you wanted too. Her words don't reassure him, they only deepen the growing chasm between them. The uncertainty is built to a fever pitch inside David. His worst fear has come true. Clara has crossed a line, and he's not sure how to get back to the life they had before. The life he thought they shared. David narration, she's so different tonight. I barely recognize her. Her laugh, her smile, it all feels like a mask, a different person entirely. Is this who she really is? Who I never saw? And am I the one who's lost now, stuck in this world I never asked for? The tension in the air is suffocating as Clara walks away to join the others again, leaving David standing alone in the crowd. He feels like an invisible man, a ghost in his own life, disconnected from the world around him. His thoughts race, desperately searching for answers, for a way to stop this spiraling descent into chaos. But the more he thinks, the more he realizes there may be no way back. David steps into the hallway, seeking a moment of peace, but he's interrupted by the sound of someone's voice, familiar, urgent. David, we need to talk. It's Rachel. She's standing at the end of the hallway, her face serious. Her eyes flicker to the main room, where the party continues, but then back to David. I couldn't just watch anymore, she says. I know what's happening. And I think you do too. David's heart skips a beat. He feels a wave of dread wash over him. What are you talking about, he asks, his voice barely a whisper. Rachel hesitates, glancing around before stepping closer. Clara. She's not just here for the party. I overheard her talking to Julie about her plans. She's already made up her mind, David. She's done with you. This was never about exploring, it was about ending things. The truth hits David like a ton of bricks. His whole body goes cold as the weight of Rachel's words settles on him. He wants to deny it, to scream that it can't be true, but deep down he knows it is. Clara has already checked out, already made her choice, and David is left standing in the wreckage. The rest of the night passes in a blur of confusion and shock. David watches as Clara continues her interactions with the guests, her laughter echoing in the background, while he feels like he's slowly fading into the shadows. His mind races, his thoughts overwhelmed by the brutal truth he's just uncovered. He waits for a moment when Clara isn't surrounded by others, when he can confront her in private. But when that moment comes, he finds that he's not sure what to say. The words feel heavy, like a weight he can't lift. How do you confront someone you thought you knew, someone you thought you loved, when they've already made their choice to leave you behind? David walks to her, his steps slow and deliberate, his heart pounding in his chest. When he reaches her, Clara looks up with a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. There's a coldness there now, a finality that David can't ignore. "I think it's time we talk," David says, his voice steady despite the turmoil inside him. Clara nods, her gaze flickering toward the door, as though eager to escape this conversation. "I know, David. You've been distant all night. I thought we could just enjoy this, but I guess I was wrong. You don't want to be here, and honestly, neither do I." Her words sting, cutting deeper than anything David could have expected. She's already checked out. She's already gone. "Clara, what are you saying?" David's voice cracks, a wave of emotion surging through him. "What does this mean for us? For our marriage?" Clara takes a deep breath and really looks at him for the first time that night. But there's no love in her eyes, no affection. There's only resignation. "I'm saying that this isn't working anymore. I thought I could fix it. I thought this party would bring something back. But it's not you, David. It's me. I need more than what we have. I need to feel alive again, to feel free. I can't keep pretending that I'm happy with the life we built." David feels the ground beneath him tremble, as though the very foundation of their life together is crumbling. He stands there, speechless, as Clara walks past him and into the crowd once more. David narration, "This is it. The end of everything I thought we had. I wanted to fix it, to save us. But now I see that I was already too late. She's gone. And I was too afraid to face it until now." As Clara disappears into the crowd, David's world shatters. He stands alone in the hallway, surrounded by the laughter and noise of the party, a broken man who never saw the end coming. David narration, "I should have known. This was never about the party. It was about her leaving me. And I couldn't stop it. I couldn't save her." Thanks for watching this intense story unfold. If you've enjoyed the twists and turns, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more. See you in the next video.